Welcome back to Peacock TV Spoilers, where we dive deep into the absolute madness of Salem. The week of June 22nd to June 26th is going to change days of our lives forever. Peacock TV Spoilers has official, jaw-dropping confirmation that EJ DiMera finally discovers the horrifying truth about Kristen DiMera. EJ DiMera learns that Kristen DiMera orchestrated the entire assassination plot involving Sophia Choi. Kristen DiMera deliberately used Sophia Choi as a weapon to target and harm Johnny DiMera. Can you believe it? The moment EJ DiMera puts the pieces together and realizes Kristen DiMera tried to eliminate Johnny DiMera, EJ DiMera absolutely loses all control. The spoilers confirm that EJ DiMera is plotting a massive, ruthless revenge scheme against Kristen DiMera. And you won't believe what happens next. Because Kristen DiMera is slated to be violently kidnapped, we need to look deep into the psychology of EJ DiMera. EJ DiMera is currently facing immense, crushing pressure from every single angle in Salem. EJ DiMera is dealing with Tony DiMera, constantly changing corporate plans at DiMera Enterprises. EJ DiMera is watching Lexi Carver slowly deteriorate because the Versavic serum EJ DiMera funded is catastrophically failing. EJ DiMera feels like EJ DiMera is losing control of the entire DiMera empire. Therefore, EJ DiMera desperately needs a scapegoat. EJ DiMera needs a target to unleash all the pent-up rage EJ DiMera is holding inside. Kristen DiMera provides the perfect punching bag for EJ DiMera. By kidnapping Kristen DiMera, EJ DiMera regains a sense of absolute power. EJ DiMera can look at Kristen DiMera in chains and feel like EJ DiMera is the true king of the DiMera family. That is crazy. This situation reminds me so much of the golden era of Days of Our Lives. If we look back at the legacy storylines from 5 to 10 years ago, this is exactly the kind of vicious civil war Stefano DiMera would orchestrate. Stefano DiMera always demanded absolute, unwavering loyalty from the DiMera family. When family members betrayed Stefano DiMera did not just yell. Stefano DiMera banished people to remote islands or locked them in the DiMera mansion's secret room. EJ DiMera is channeling pure Stefano DiMera energy right now. EJ DiMera has been incredibly distracted lately with Dr. Wilhelm Rolf and the laboratory experiments. But Kristen DiMera threatening Johnny DiMera is the ultimate line in the sand. EJ DiMera views Johnny DiMera as the future of DiMera Enterprises. EJ DiMera will not allow Kristen DiMera to jeopardize Johnny DiMera. Let's be real for a second. I personally believe Kristen DiMera deserves absolutely everything EJ DiMera is planning to do to Kristen DiMera. I passionately defend EJ DiMera in this specific scenario, and I will ruthlessly criticize Kristen DiMera until the end of time. Kristen DiMera is a psychotic, manipulative menace who has destroyed too many lives in Salem. Kristen DiMera has the sheer audacity to issue hypocritical warnings to Johnny DiMera while actively plotting the demise of Johnny DiMera. That is completely unhinged behavior, even for Kristen DiMera. Kristen DiMera has spent years terrorizing Marlena Evans, John Black, and everyone else who crosses the path of Kristen DiMera. If you ask me, EJ DiMera locking Kristen DiMera in a cage is a huge victory for Salem. Kristen DiMera needs to pay the ultimate price for targeting Johnny DiMera. How exactly will the kidnapping of Kristen DiMera unfold? Peacock TV Spoilers. We've been tracking this for weeks, and the internal logic of the show points to a few brilliant possibilities. EJ DiMera could easily utilize the private security forces of DiMera Enterprises to ambush Kristen DiMera. Imagine Kristen DiMera walking through the Horton Town Square, completely arrogant and unaware, when suddenly the henchmen of EJ DiMera throw a black hood over the head of Kristen DiMera. Amazing. Or perhaps EJ DiMera will drug the champagne of Kristen DiMera at the DiMera mansion. EJ DiMera might drag the unconscious body of Kristen DiMera down into the infamous DiMera wine cellar. The DiMera secret tunnels have held countless prisoners over the decades. EJ DiMera trapping Kristen DiMera in the very same tunnels where Stefano DiMera tortured enemies is absolute poetic justice. Let's dive deeper into the Sophia Choi connection, because this is where the storyline gets incredibly dark. Kristen DiMera did not just hire a random professional assassin. Kristen DiMera manipulated a vulnerable teenager. Sophia Choi was deeply involved in the cyberbullying drama, and Kristen DiMera saw an opportunity to turn Sophia Choi into a lethal weapon against Johnny DiMera. EJ DiMera discovering this specific detail is what makes the rage of EJ DiMera so volcanic. EJ DiMera knows that Johnny DiMera has a good heart. Johnny DiMera tries to see the best in people. Kristen DiMera exploiting the trusting nature of Johnny DiMera is a betrayal that EJ DiMera cannot ever forgive. EJ DiMera remembers when Stefano DiMera used similar tactics to turn family members against each other. EJ DiMera swore EJ DiMera would protect Johnny DiMera from the toxicity of the DiMera legacy, yet Kristen DiMera brought the toxicity directly to the doorstep of Johnny DiMera. We also have to consider the potential involvement of other characters in this explosive kidnapping plot. What happens when Chad DiMera finds out that EJ DiMera kidnapped Kristen DiMera? Chad DiMera has always tried to be the moral compass of the DiMera family. Chad DiMera will likely be horrified by the violent actions of EJ DiMera. However, Chad DiMera also loves Johnny DiMera. Chad DiMera knows exactly how dangerous Kristen DiMera can be to the entire family. Will Chad DiMera turn a blind eye while EJ DiMera tortures Kristen DiMera? Or will Chad DiMera try to rescue Kristen DiMera? This dynamic between EJ DiMera, Kristen DiMera, and Chad DiMera is going to completely tear the DiMera mansion apart. Chad DiMera is currently distracted by Belle Black, but the screams of Kristen DiMera echoing through the DiMera tunnels will surely get the attention of Chad DiMera. Furthermore, the reaction of Johnny DiMera is going to be pivotal. Johnny DiMera is currently focused entirely on the terrifying breast cancer battle of Chanel Dupree DiMera. Johnny DiMera is emotionally exhausted. If Johnny DiMera discovers that EJ DiMera locked Kristen DiMera in a dungeon, Johnny DiMera might reject EJ DiMera completely. Johnny DiMera hates the violent tactics of the DiMera family. EJ DiMera risks destroying the relationship EJ DiMera has with Johnny DiMera in the blind pursuit of vengeance against Kristen DiMera. EJ DiMera thinks EJ DiMera is protecting Johnny DiMera, but EJ DiMera is actually proving that EJ DiMera is just as monstrous as Stefano DiMera. The tragedy here is that EJ DiMera is alienating Johnny DiMera while trying to save Johnny DiMera. Let's do a historical deep dive on the past ruthlessness of EJ DiMera. Think back to the era when EJ DiMera first arrived in Salem. EJ DiMera was an absolute force of nature. EJ DiMera buried Sammy Brady alive. EJ DiMera shot John Black. EJ DiMera has a documented history of extreme theatrical violence when the family of EJ DiMera is threatened. The current iteration of EJ DiMera has been wearing a suit, sitting in a corporate office, and playing the role of a legitimate businessman. But the kidnapping of Kristen DiMera proves that the old, vicious EJ DiMera is still alive and well. EJ DiMera shedding the corporate facade to become a ruthless kidnapper is exactly the character development the fans have been begging to see. EJ DiMera is finally taking off the gloves. Kristen DiMera pushed EJ DiMera too far, and now Kristen DiMera will face the monster EJ DiMera has kept hidden for years. But here's the kicker. The absolute biggest question burning through the Days of Our Lives community is whether EJ DiMera will actually kill Kristen DiMera. Will EJ DiMera cross the ultimate line and commit fratricide? EJ DiMera has committed terrible crimes, but EJ DiMera murdering the sister of EJ DiMera would alter the fabric of Salem forever. I personally believe EJ DiMera will not kill Kristen DiMera immediately. Death is simply too easy for Kristen DiMera. EJ DiMera wants Kristen DiMera to suffer. EJ DiMera wants to break the spirit of Kristen DiMera. EJ DiMera will likely subject Kristen DiMera to intense psychological torture. EJ DiMera might force Kristen DiMera to watch Johnny DiMera thrive and take over DiMera Enterprises while Kristen DiMera rots in a dark, cold cell. EJ DiMera wants Kristen DiMera to realize that Kristen DiMera is entirely powerless. What do you guys think about this massive twist? Will EJ DiMera actually pull the trigger and end the life of Kristen DiMera? Or will EJ DiMera keep Kristen DiMera locked away as a permanent prisoner in the DiMera tunnels? Drop your wildest theories in the comments below because we want to hear from you. And if you want to stay ahead of all the explosive Salem drama, smash that subscribe button and join the Peacock TV Spoilers family right now. We will see you in the next video.